We've been a leader in banking for more than 100 years. You'll find us here, at home, on your phone, and everywhere you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning, Northeast Mississippi. This is Newsbreak for Friday, August 4th. I'm Brad Locke. Thanks for joining us. And just a reminder that you can catch Newsbreak each weekday at 7 a.m. You can watch it on djournal.com, Facebook, YouTube, or the Daily Journal's mobile apps for Apple and Android devices. I'm going to spend the next few minutes looking at news, sports, and weather for Northeast Mississippi. Let's start with the weather forecast. Thunderstorms are possible today. Going to see a high of 87 degrees, low of 64. The chance of rain 60%. The 3-day outlook: Saturday mostly sunny with a high of 90, low of 69, just a 10% chance of rain. But the thunderstorms likely to return Sunday. High of 88, low of 72. 80% chance of rain, and then Monday, high of 85, low of 71, 100% chance of thunderstorms. Let's take a look now at some of the top stories from the Daily Journal and djournal.com on this Friday. State law enforcement officers will soon be equipped with a drug that reverses opioid overdoses. Officers with the Department of Public Safety, including Highway Patrol troopers and Bureau of Narcotics agents, will be trained and equipped with a Naloxone nasal spray that can be used to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. The plan, as announced at a news conference Thursday, is to provide local law enforcement with the drug in areas where the opioid epidemic is deemed to be more severe. Those areas identified as having the biggest problems with opioids include Alcorn, Benton, Marshall, Tupelo, and Tishomingo counties. The program is being paid for through a portion of a $3.6 million federal grant the Department of Mental Health received as part of legislation passed by the U.S. Congress in 2016. According to the Department of Public Safety, there were 563 drug overdose deaths reported in Mississippi between 2013 and 2016, with 481 of those opioid related. Students were back in the classroom Thursday in the Tupelo and Lee County school districts. There was plenty of excitement among teachers and students. Julie Sterling, a first grade teacher at South Tilla Primary, said she was eager to meet her new students. Mark Enos was starting his first school year as principal at Lawhorn Elementary School. The school recently had some renovations done, and Enos said he was glad to see the building completed and full of students again. Lawhorn third grader Morgan Mathis said she was excited to be back at school to see her friends and learn about science. Most teachers spent the first day going over classroom rules and procedures, laying the foundation for learning to take place as the year goes on. The Mississippi Department of Transportation is working to make sure more than 100 intersections across Northeast Mississippi are a little less dangerous. As part of a $4.3 million project, MDOT is installing new stop signs featuring solar-powered flashing lights, road signs on breakaway poles, and rumble striping. The upgrades will affect 188 intersections in District 1, which covers the northeastern corner of the state from the Tennessee state line down to Winston County. The project includes everything from rural 2-lane state highways to high-speed 4-lane highways with wide shoulders and massive rights-of-way. Each of the sites had at least 7 wrecks over the last 5 years. The intersection improvements are grouped into 3 categories: basic, intermediate, and enhanced. Work on the project began in March and is scheduled to be completed by October 31st. Crews are a little behind schedule at the moment, but are expected to pick up the pace in the coming weeks. And in sports, the Ole Miss football coaching staff saw an unusual amount of turnover this offseason, and the question now is how much there might be after the 2017 season is finished. Hugh Freeze filled 5 positions after the 2016 campaign, and even though Freeze is now gone, the new assistant coaches say they're staying grounded amid all the uncertainty. Part of the uncertainty is whether interim head coach Matt Luke can convince the administration to keep him in charge after this season. He spent 14 years as an Ole Miss player and coach. Defensive line coach Freddie Roach said he isn't a what-if guy and isn't concerned about what might or might not happen down the line. Offensive coordinator Phil Longo said Ole Miss is a good place, and he's been impressed by the resiliency of the players. Another question is how the recruits respond to the current situation. Several prospects have withdrawn their verbal commitments to Ole Miss, but Luke remains upbeat, saying Ole Miss, quote, sells itself. That's it for Newsbreak on this Friday. We do want to remind you to check out a couple of the podcasts that we produce here at the Daily Journal. The Memo, All Things Northeast Mississippi, with myself and W. Derek Russell. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday. You can find it in iTunes, your podcast apps, or at memo.djournal.com. Be sure to check out today's episode. We visit with Jenna Parsons to talk about this week's food section. Also, M. Scott Morris offers his review of the movie Atomic Blonde, and Derek fills us in on what's happening with the local entertainment scene this weekend. Also, check out Double Coverage, an Ole Miss and Mississippi State sports podcast with Parrish Alford and Logan Lowry. New episodes every Thursday or Friday. You can find it in iTunes, your podcast apps, or at doublecoverage.djournal.com. For more on the stories I talked about today, pick up a copy of your Daily Journal or visit djournal.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at djournalnow. Give our Facebook page a like as well. And that's it for Newsbreak on this Friday. I'm Brad Locke. Have a great weekend.